I remember the night when I actually heard God's voice. And I remember that till this day, I was praying in my closet. I was very honest with God. I told every single thing that I thought of him. And there were not pleasant things that I was saying to him. I told him that I don't trust him. I don't think that he was there for me. And the list can go on and on. But I was honest. Everything that I felt about God, everything that this falsehood perception of my perception, my interpretation of God, what I've learned from my upbringing, from my life experiences, how I interpreted my life experiences, and I blame God for many things in my life. And I just remember I went on a rant and I was just saying things to him. You're not for me. I don't trust you. I don't think you ever helped me. I don't think you ever cared about me. And I just remember how I was very specific, because when I lost my father, I was 9 years old, and I told him, you were not there for me. Where were you when my father died? When I was 9, I was alone. I didn't feel anybody's presence. I didn't feel anybody's support. And I was just going on a rant. And just at the end, I just remember I told him, now you tell me the truth. Now you tell me the truth. So it was like open conversation. It wasn't just me confessing, venting, but I was really waiting for him to respond back. And I remember this voice saying, finally. It was just very loving. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It was very gentle, loving voice saying, finally. It was like a relief. And I was like, oh, finally. And then he said, finally, now I can speak my truth to you. And he brought me back to like a mental picture, and in my mind, obviously, when I was 9, back on my dad's funeral that day, because I accused God that he was not there for me. And he showed me the picture of me, the exact moment. I remember that moment. I'm 9, I was wearing the same clothes at my dad's funeral, and he showed me. He was standing right behind me. I just saw him. I saw Jesus right behind my back. And I was 9. He was right behind my back, putting his hands on my shoulders. And that picture healed this years and years trauma of me, and a lie that I believed that he was never for me. That picture alone healed years of pain that I carried, this resentment towards God, that he abandoned me, that he didn't care about me. And that's how they say, by one word, or by one picture in my case, I was healed. And I just remember that I entered in this almost like a cloud. I don't know how to describe. I felt like a warm blanket was around me, and I felt like I was in almost like in a white cloud, and it felt nice, warm, peaceful. I've never experienced this that kind of peace in my life. And I didn't read Bible I didn't know much. But then when I realized that this is how you experience the presence of the Holy Spirit, the presence of God, it was just loving, peaceful, and that kind of peace that later I read in Bible, it says, I give you the peace that not world gives you, but my peace. And that was such an incredible state when I just was so alive, and at the same time I was so peaceful. And he was just downloading all of this wisdom from, when later on I realized it was in Bible, when he was saying that I was always there for you, and he would just reveal it over and over again. And then he named me that day, and I said, by what name do you call me? And he said, you'll be the one who's giving hope and faith. And it was just, I remember sitting in my closet, I cried, and then it was just a sense of joy and overwhelmed, but it was just in all of it, it was just a peace. And I remember, I don't even know how to describe, because I've never experienced that in my life, this emotions of being so full, so complete. And I got up and I went to my bed, and that state, it was just, I think it lasted till early in the morning. I just didn't want to break that connection with him. It was just so powerful. And from that night, my life was never the same. This is how I found him. This is how I was able to communicate back with him. And from that day, every time when I feel overwhelmed, every time when I know I don't need to set up a time for him. He is in me. So when I'm driving, when I'm cooking, when I'm walking, when I'm just doing whatever in my mind, I'm constantly in contact with him. And one thing he told me, because I was so scared of losing that connection that night, I was like, I'm so afraid, I don't want to sleep because I don't want to lose this connection with you. And he said, I will never leave you. And I said, how do I return back to this state? How do I return back to this feeling of being with you? And he told me, every time when you lose peace or joy, it means you believed something. You've accepted some unholy spirits. You accepted some unholy fruits. You've believed some lies about something, about someone. That what steals your joy and peace. But I am always with you. So now my check-in is always, if I found myself in a day that I suddenly disconnected from God and I'm just, too carried away with the world, and then I'm losing my peace or feel I'm anxious, I was like, oh, okay, so there's something happened, I believed, or I've heard, or maybe I, had a conversation with someone and that distracted me, or the information that I consumed was a lie, or it was falsely. It was something. Every time when I lose peace and joy, I come to God and say, God, I'm losing peace and joy. Please, what is going on? Please show me. And usually I would get this download of thoughts, or he would show me a picture, like a mental picture. And a lot of wisdom that he minister me through our one-on-one conversation with him. I later on finding out that it was already written in Bible, and that's even more encouraging for me to know that it's not just in my imagination. It's actually the Bible backs that up. And I'm really encouraging you today, if you are on a walk with God, reading a Bible, it's great. This is how he speaks sometimes to us through Bible, but he also wants to have this personal, very intimate relationship with you, when he can actually heal all of your trauma. He can heal all of your anxieties. He can strip all of the lies from you and fill you with his truth. But most importantly, he wants you to fill him with your peace and joy. And that peace and that joy, they're so wonderful. I really, really wish you all to connect with God, seek him, and be in his peace.